Hello and welcome to the first video uploaded lesson out of hopefully many. I wanted to throw this introduction in to welcome you and also kind of break down how these are going to run. So this first video is going to be done in my normal voice, but in the future I'd like to try and change that up, talk in different accents or voices. If you have characters that you'd like me to try out, by all means, I'd feel free to let me know in any comments or messages. Also, Class Dojo limits our time, so I'm going to try and keep it short, but if there are any technical difficulties, please reach out and let me know. If you have any questions, of course, you can call me at the numbers and the email that I gave you, or send me a text, anything like that. But without further ado, let's jump right into this lesson. So what we're doing, boys and girls, is looking at our text-dependent analysis question. Now, the reason I chose to do this is because, in theory, the idea is you'll either watch this video before doing the writing, in which case you will get a step-by-step process on how to answer the question, or you'll watch this video after the writing, in which case you can follow my procedure and see if you come up with the same writing, see what I'm looking for, right? So the first thing you have to do whenever you're looking at this prompt, right? They wanted you to read the passage carefully. It's called The Greedy Dog by Amy Peters. I read it before this recording. It is a pretty interesting story. It's 2.5 pages long, boys and girls. It's not that difficult. I'm sure you can make it through it. And then using that passage, we're going to be answering this question. Is the assumption. So read the statement about greed. One who is greedy always wants more. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Anytime you have an essay question, which is what this is, you need to break stuff down. If you try and force your way through it, chances are your organization and thoughts probably aren't going to net you as many points as you deserve. Break it down. If you need to, you have little scraps piece, like you have paper over here, you have paper here, you can write out thoughts, right? You can do exactly what I'm going to do. But the first thing you got to do is figure out what it's asking you to do. So we read the past statement, one who's greedy always wants more. Now, I agree with that statement. What does that statement mean? Well, one who is greedy, right? One who shows greed, we all know what that is, we all know what greed is, always wants more. They're never satisfied, right? They're never good, right? They always want more. They're greedy. I would say that's factual. That seems to be fair, right? That's true. We need to write an essay analyzing how the passage shows the statement to be true. Okay, well, we said that we thought it was true, right? Now we have to use the passage. They're talking about this, the bulldog story, to show using evidence from the passage to support the response. Now it says both passages. I don't know what it's talking about. We're just going to be talking about the greedy dog. They give you this writer's checklist. Please look through the writer's checklist because it's literally telling you what I'm going to be looking for when I'm grading it and what other teachers are going to be looking for when they grade theirs. So what I'm going to do now, boys and girls, I'm going to make myself bigger. I do apologize for any video quality that impacts. So I also want to just take a moment and thank you for your patience. I understand that the transitions are a little rough. I will do my best to improve those over time. But what I wanted to show you, boys and girls, is this tablet. I'll call it a tablet, writing tablet. I'm going to go out and get a dry erase board when I get groceries, but I want to limit trips to the store. So you should be writing all this down exactly as I have it. You're going to want to have a hook in this writing. You're going to want to state a topic in this writing and state an opinion. In a new paragraph, you'll have a topic sentence. You'll have an example and a reason why that's a piece of evidence. You'll have a second example, reason why that's also evidence. You'll have some kind of transition sentence into your conclusion paragraph. You'll restate the topic, and then you'll have a concluding sentence. Now, you'll notice that we don't restate our opinion in our conclusion. We'll explain why as we go through these things. Also, real quick, boys and girls, I also want to throw in the small fact that I just realized that because this is on YouTube, Class Dojo doesn't limit those files, I don't believe. So this video is not limited on time. Now, boys and girls, for this part of the lesson, I would like you to have the outline out and a pencil, and that's all you really should need. If you are one of the people who did the writing first before watching this video, then I want you to have your writing as well. But only the people who have the writing. If you don't have your writing, I just want you to have the outline, and we're going to run you through what your writing should look like. I'm going to help you out. What I'm going to be doing, boys and girls, I'm going to have the prompt up here. I'm also going to be moving between this and a Word document, as well as looking down every once in a while at my outline to make sure that I'm on topic myself. I also realized, boys and girls, as I pulled up the Microsoft Word to do the writing, that I could have just used this instead of this crudely made whiteboard. So I think in the future, I'm going to use Microsoft Word to have stuff written down. That'll help me format stuff better as well. And I also then don't have to go and touch a bunch of extra stuff while I go grocery shopping. So it's perfect. Works out. But in the future, I will make sure I do it on Word document and not this really flimsy booklet that has reflection and I can touch my finger to it and erase it by accident. So, I digress. Back to what we're going into. The very first thing that you're doing is you're writing your hook, right? Now, the hook, boys and girls, is debatably the most important part of any good writing. Because if you want people to read your writing, you need to engage them. You need them to be interested in what you're saying, right? If they're not interested, they're going to put your reading, they're going to put the reading down, right? Just think about all the times that you look at a book and you don't like what you've read, and you close it and you put it down and don't come back because it wasn't interesting. Also, boys and girls, this is a good example of why I like writing. I don't love writing, but I like writing because it's similar to music. When you think of a hook, when I think of a hook, I think of, in music, the hook of a song or the chorus of a song, right? The part that repeats itself, the part that is really catchy. It's usually the catchiest part of the song, right? And they call it the hook because it gets stuck in your head. It catches you. It catches your attention. It grabs your attention. You will also hear people refer to the hook as the attention grabber, but I think hook is easier to say. So your hook can be anything. It can be a strong statement, like I know I've seen a lot of our essays when we wrote about not smoking and the negative effects that smoking has. I think a lot of the writing that I saw was the very first sentence was that statistic. I think it was something like out of all the different people, all the different like races in the world, African Americans die from smoking cigarettes or die from lung cancer the most. That's a significant statement. And whether it's true or not, that's what we read in our article. That's what we used as our attention grabber in those essays. And it caught my attention. I mean, I didn't know that, first and foremost. And second of all, if it's true, I think that's crazy. Why is that? I have a lot of questions once I read that hook. And I'm hoping that they get answered in the writing, right? The same thing applies here. You want your reader to reread your hook. You want them to be interested, right? So, what I love to do is use quotes. I like to engage my reader by making them think about philosophy or something other than that. And the greatest thing about nowadays is most of us have at least a cell phone that you can do Google searches on, right? So I would go to my cell phone. I have the benefit, boys and girls, of being on a computer. But the idea is you can use a cell phone. You can go into your cell phone and literally just type in quotes about greed. And you'll see, boys and girls, that I've done this before. Quotes about greed. You'll notice that I've done this before when I was planning out this lesson a little bit. I'm going to go into images. And again, boys and girls, I did my research and stuff before the lesson, just a little bit of it. So I've already seen this quote. Now, notice how I didn't just go with the first quote. I don't know who Rusty Eric is. I don't know who Eric Fromm is off the top of my head. Some of these don't have Rumi. I don't know if that's a website or the author, right? Take some time, find something that interests you, find some kind of attention grabber that you like, and go with it. Now, the purpose of me using a quote, as a good writer, boys and girls, you want to make everything relatable. You want to make everything linear. You want your story to be a straight line. You don't want your story to be lightning, zigzagging all over the place, hard to follow, right? You want your writing to be pretty straightforward. So, my writing, because we're trying to show how the passage is true, right? Or show how the statement is true using the passage, I'm going to use a quote that's very similar. Mahatma Gandhi says that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. So Earth, the thing that we live on, provides enough to satisfy every man's needs. So Earth has enough to satisfy us, but not every man's greed. So not everyone is satisfied with what we are given, right? Not everyone is satisfied with what we have. We have what we need. We don't need anything else, but we want other things. Now, some people want a candy bar, right? That's not greedy. That's just, I want some chocolate right now. But people who want money, who want a lot of money and just want all the money, and they just want to keep getting money, and all they care about is money, and no amount of money will ever make them feel good or, give them satisfaction. They just need more money. There's people out there like that, boys and girls. Earth doesn't have enough to satisfy that person's greed. One who is greedy always wants more. Those two quotes, those two statements are almost exactly the same. And I like that. So I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my writing. And first and foremost, indent. So you'll see how I did that. Indent. Just move your pencil in a little bit. Again, I have the added benefit that I'll be typing this up. But that'll help me also keep up with my thoughts. So Mahatma Gandhi stated, comma, quotation mark is very important because you're using somebody else's words. Mahatma Gandhi stated, Earth provides enough to satisfy most men's, not most, I think it was every. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs. Oops, my bad. Now just from here to here. So, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs. But not every man's greed. So, and quotation mark, again, important that you use quotation marks. Anytime you use anyone else's words that aren't your words, yourself, that you made, you need to give them the credit that is due. This goes for citing evidence. This goes for quoting somebody like we just did. This goes for paraphrasing. So certain paraphrasing, boys and girls, it's a word that just basically means if I weren't to quote him, if I weren't to say this exact quote, right, word for word, if I said something like, Earth gives us enough, but not every man satisfied, right? That's a paraphrase. It means the same thing, but it's not his exact words. Even paraphrasing, you might want quotation marks. But I digress. The important part is this is your hook. Mahatma Gandhi stated, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. That's a pretty factual statement. That's going to make my reader stop and say, wait, what? Mahatma Gandhi stated that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed? Well, what's this about? Like, what do you mean? Now I'm interested. What are we talking about? Are we talking about greed? Because that's interesting. You'll know, boys and girls, as you grow up, you'll be a lot more interested in the workings of the world. You'll be watching like the news and other stuff like that, and you'll see people out there who are like that. And you're going to say, I wonder what this is about, besides just greedy people. And luckily for your reader, who might not have read the story, you're going to help inform them about this. But again, you need to have your topic statement, boys and girls. You need to state your topic. So, our topic, as we said a little earlier, was basically that we are writing an essay showing how this statement is true, using evidence from the passages. Well, that's a lot to write. It's also not very clear, so let's clean it up a little bit. We need to state our topic. So, this essay, we can say, right? We're talking about this essay. This essay will show how true, well, I guess, see, I need to think about it a little as I try and write it out. The statement, one who is greedy always wants more, is very similar to Gandhi's quote. And using the passage, we can prove it to be true. I like that. Just thinking about words, boys and girls, and how you're going to form them. You could write something as simple as this essay's, This essay will analyze how the passages show the statement to be true, that one who is greedy always wants more. It's boring, boys and girls. We don't want boring. We want to spice it up. We want to create our own words. We want to create writing, right? Another great point about why I love music over why I like writing and its connection to music is it's creativity. It requires you to be a little creative. So, I think I said, what was it? There is a statement. Let's say another statement. There's another statement that, and I'm going to use another quote, that one who is greedy always wants more. There's another statement that one who is greedy always wants more. We might not need the comma. There's another statement that one who is greedy always wants more. And I will be using evidence from the passage to show that it's true. Now, this is a pretty short paragraph, and we've arrived at the point of stating our opinion. Now, they kind of took away our choice, boys and girls. The directions are: write an essay analyzing how the passage shows the statement to be true. The reason why this is taking away our opinion is because you might think that this statement's false. You might not agree with this statement, right? You might think that it's not true. But you have to show how the passage, you have to analyze how the passage shows the statement to be true. They don't give you a choice. So that's why in our conclusion, we're not even going to restate the topic, or we're not even going to restate the opinion, because the topic is our opinion, right? When you look at our writing, everything is there, right? Mahatma Gandhi stated, "Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed." There is another statement that one who is greedy always wants more. That deserves a comma, and I will be using evidence from the passage to show that it's true, that it is true. Boys and girls, with your writing, I understand you're not going to have me to edit your paper, but I encourage you to maybe have your parents look at your paper, see what they think about your writing. As you turn these in, eventually, I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. No one's told me. But eventually, when I do collect these, I can look over them as well, but it's not going to be anything like... because this is an actual test and it's not being graded, I want you to have as much feedback as you can get. I want you to treat this just like it's just a writing assignment, right? It's not an essay on a test. This is literally just a writing assignment for home. Notice how I hit enter and I indented again. This is our second paragraph. Now, things get a little tricky in writing, but your introduction paragraph and eventually your conclusion paragraph down here, those are going to be short. Introduction and conclusion paragraphs are about 2 to 3 sentences long, roughly. They can be longer. Well, I've seen them shorter, but you probably shouldn't do shorter. 2 sentences here, that should be enough for us, right? We've got it out. Mahatma Gandhi stated, "Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed." There is another statement that one who is greedy always wants more, and I will be using evidence from the passage to show that it's true. That's it. I've told you exactly what we're going to be doing in this essay. The next step, boys and girls, is our body paragraph. So, our topic sentence, boys and girls, restate what you're doing. It doesn't hurt to let your reader know that this is exactly what we're doing. And a lot of times with writing, people get off topic, so you want to reassure your reader that you're not going to get off topic. So, topic sentence. I mean, you can honestly just say, statement. Let me back up and say real quick, because I think I said it in one of my earlier snippets that I recorded. All this is, boys and girls, is for you to see what I'm doing. Please do not copy word for word what I'm writing down, because it's not your work. It's my work. It's plagiarism. I want you to be honest. I want you to put all this practice that I'm giving you into your own words. But this is the idea. My topic sentence, boys and girls, I'm just going to restate my topic. The statement of one who is greedy always wants more is true. And I have evidence from the passage to prove it. Get a little snarky. I mean, hey, it's writing. Again, get creative. Please put personality into your writing, right? Like you would talk. That's one of the things I have a problem with, boys and girls. I got in trouble in college because I used to write like I talked. I used to write exactly like I talked. And while it made for some interesting stories, my college professors, being college professors, some of them were doctors, they had a PhD, they didn't find it funny. They said it was unprofessional. They said that it was not informational, and I went off on too many tangents, which you know me very pretty well. You know this is true. Anyways, I digress. The whole point of that little tangent was to say, be as creative as you want. Now, topic sentence wise, boys and girls, you're not just going to copy and paste what you wrote, right? You could theoretically do that. It doesn't look good, boys and girls. Excuse me. But you can rewrite it. And the great thing is, boys and girls, as long as this is, rewriting it makes it a little shorter. So instead of saying another statement, just say you already had the statement. So say that the statement is true, right? Because you got to prove that it's true anyway. So the statement is true. And I have evidence from the passage to prove it. I can prove it. That's as simple as it has to be, boys and girls. Again, you're not going to copy and paste. What I'm putting down, my language might suggest that. For my intents and purposes, this is what I'm going with. Your writing's going to look a little different, okay? Now, where was I? Here. For our example, boys and girls, we need to look for an example from the text. Luckily, having read this passage already, I already know how the story goes. First, the bulldog goes after the schnauzer, right? And after eating the schnauzer's bone, Schnauzer's not happy, but bulldog is, until he sees that the poodle has some baked goods. He wants the poodle's baked goods. Poodle doesn't want him to have the baked goods, but he doesn't care. He's greedy. He wants them. He takes them, right? Is he satisfied after that? No, he's not. Then he goes after the corky's strawberries. So that's your first example, right? Forgot I'm not writing on this. Back to Word. My first example is how the bulldog kept trying to take every other dog's food. He was never satisfied with what he had. So there's your example. Now, all right, boys and girls, I will admit, it's going to be difficult because there's not many examples from the story. So I know I just said you're not copying everything that I put down, but if you're going to use this example, you can use this example, just reword it, right? Again, for those of you who are doing the writing, this is helping, I guess, walk you through the writing. And for those of you who are done with the writing, this is to see if you did what I did. So my first example is how the bulldog kept trying to take every other dog's food, which we said was accurate, and he was never satisfied with what he had. He was never satisfied with what he had. That's two sentences, example one and the reason, right? My apologies, I didn't think about finger stuff. Our second sentence is the example. Third sentence is that he was never satisfied with what he had. Example 2, sentence 4 would be the next part of the story where they all decided, hey, let's get back at this guy. And they met up, right? At which point in time they decided, hey, we're going to go and trick this dog. This is actually the classic part of the story, because they tell him, hey, if you take the bone and all your stuff over with you to the lake, you're going to meet another dog that's got better stuff than you got. The joke, boys and girls, is he goes there, he looks in the water, there's a reflection of himself, but being a dog, he's not very smart. He sees his reflection, thinks it's another dog, and drops all of his stuff, right? He barked to frighten the other dog into dropping his steak. He dropped his and then he had dropped his stuff, right? Unluckily, the stream was swift and the steak had been carried away in the churning water. Now, boys and girls, it says to use evidence from both passages to support your response. When you get older, they're going to expect you to go in and take actual sentences out, right? Greedy dog went from having one juicy steak to none at all. That's not the lesson. Being a greedy and rather silly dog, he quickly jumped into the rushing stream to snatch the other dog's meat. There we go. You would copy and paste this. Being greedy and silly, he tried to snatch the other dog's meat. He wasn't satisfied with what he had. He wanted what the other dog had. So he jumped in the water and tried to snatch it. That would be my next sentence. Later, the bulldog went to the water in search of another dog who had better meat. And when he saw his reflection, he mistook it for the dog and tried to take his meat. That's the example. Now, it's a long-winded example, I understand. You could shorten it down. That's where the editing process comes in. For me, writing, typing, I just want my idea down, right? You can always go back in and say, we can take some stuff out, make it shorter, make it easier to work with. Honestly, though, with an essay, especially on a test or anything like that, if this were a test, you want to make sure that you're writing everything, right? That you just have your thoughts down. So, when he saw his reflection, he took it for the dog and tried to take his meat. Yeah. This also shows how he was not satisfied with what he had and wanted to take the other dog's food, even though it was literally literally himself he was seeing. Yeah. Now, I didn't have it in the outline, boys and girls, but conclusion sentence is important as well. So, these are two fantastic examples that prove the statement above to be true. Now, I could rewrite the statement that one who is greedy always wants more. Boys and girls, it's already in there. Again, trying to just write down what's coming to your mind, that's what I thought of. These are two fantastic examples that prove the statement above to be true. Now, the statement above, they might think about it and go, I don't know what that statement is. Well, in your concluding paragraph, remember, you're restating the topic. So, the statement that one who is greedy always wants more is true. Is true. And there is evidence from the passage to prove it. So I kind of combined my topic statement, topic statement here, and my topic sentence, right? Statement that that one who is greedy always wants more is true, and there is evidence from the passage to prove it. That's our restating of the topic. Now we need a conclusion sentence. So with a conclusion sentence, it's a last minute thought, boys and girls. You're trying to you're trying to leave the reader with some thoughts, right? It's your final thought. I know I just said that, but I was trying to guide my own thinking. Your conclusion sentence, boys and girls, you're just ending your paper because you don't want to just leave it at that. That's just so abrupt, right? That's one sentence. There's evidence from the passage to prove it. Leave them with a thought. Let's look at the writing. So one thing that you can always do, boys and girls, right? Look at all of this. Evidence does not support my ideas. What I do is strong evidence. Focus. Using evidence. They don't really give you much. So make your conclusion sentence what you want to make it. End your writing how you want to end your writing. For me, having talked about Mahatma Gandhi, I'm going to end my writing with, let's see, the statement that one is, who is greedy always wants more, is true, and there's evidence from the passage to prove it. This is why I try to consider what other people want. So, this is why I try to consider what other people want. And that's it. That's the end of the sentence. That's the end of the paragraph. It's the end of our writing. Now look at how much is on this paper compared to the whole thing. Now, again, boys and girls, this always changes. It depends on the size of your writing and everything like that. But this isn't a lot of writing. And if you were to leave this on your essay paper, boys and girls, I wouldn't have a problem with this. They give you a lot of paper just in case you write big or just in case you want to write more. They give you more paper than you need, just in case. But honestly, you could probably fit your response on this one page alone. If we were to take this in person, I'm confident that most responses would just use this first page. And you can see why. It doesn't require that much. There are a couple nuance parts of writing. Boys and girls, nuance are just things that are part of writing. They've always been a part of writing. They always will be a part of writing. Your introduction paragraph and your conclusion paragraph, 2 to 3 sentences long, roughly 2 to 3. They can be longer, they can be shorter. It's up to how you want to write. Body paragraphs, this section here, that, boys and girls, has to be 5 to 6 sentences. You will see that I have my first sentence, right? Then I have my example and my reasoning, my example and my reasoning, and then restating. 6 sentences, 5 to 6, I would say 5 to 8 sentences. For college papers especially, you can have big paragraphs. 5 to 8 sentences is a standard paragraph size, right? And that's all you need. 2 sentences here, 6 here, 2 sentences here. And that's it. This is your TDA. Your text and your text dependent analysis. Sorry, I was about to say text benefit. I don't know. It's getting to be the end of the video, boys and girls. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I can't wait to read what you wrote. If it happens to be exactly what I wrote, we'll work with it. But as long as you understand some of what we're talking about here with writing, as long as you can imitate what I'm doing and learn from it and grow from it, that's all I care about. All right, that's going to conclude this video for this lesson, but I'm hoping to continue creating more videos for you. Again, I apologize for any of the rough transitions. This is going to be a process for both of us, for all of us. Hopefully, as time goes on, the transitions will become smoother. I'll be able to make a wider variety of different videos using different software and stuff. Again, if there are any things that you want to see changed or any ideas that you have, feel free to shoot me a message and reach out and let me know. If there's any voices that you want me to try to do in the future, please, again, reach out and let me know. This will be the only video, I'm hoping, where I use my normal voice, and the rest of them we'll have fun with it, and we'll try and get a kick out of it for as much as we can. I hope you're having a fantastic time off, boys and girls, and not being in school. I also hope that you're getting enough sleep and that you are staying healthy. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. My apologies. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.